morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Friday, July 29th, 2022. And our top story today, thinking about a side hustle? Well, know what you're getting into. Well, joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Kathy Christoff is the editor, founder, and CEO of SideHustle.com. Kathy, so great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about SideHustle.com. Give the viewers a little bit of background. What led you to create the site? Very popular site, and you also contribute to periodicals like the LA Times. So obviously, you have a lot to say on this topic. What led you to found the website?
Well, there was this vastly growing, burgeoning economy in where online platforms were offering to solve all your personal finance problems by allowing you to work when you wanted, how you wanted, where you wanted. It was this ideally flexible and fabulous answer to everything from having student loans to not having enough money for retirement. And so I was reporting for, major market publications, Kiplinger, Reuters, CBS News, and I was being bombarded by information about these places. And so I started to dig in because I wanted to know, what could you do? How much would you earn? How did it work? And what I found is it was an incredibly stratified marketplace. There were really good opportunities out there that nobody would ever know about. And there were really abusive platforms that would lure you in with false promises and do everything from, kicking you off the platform before you could collect your money to just paying you vastly less than what they had promised. And so I felt we needed a independent review site. There wasn't one. And so that's what we decided to do, is just create the kind of Consumer Reports or Wirecutter of this, money-making opportunities in this wild west of the freelance economy. And now we research, review, and rate more than 450 different ways you can make money. It's incredibly diverse, and it's fun because there's almost no passion you can't pursue and make often very good money at it. And then there are just things, like I said, you would probably never imagine you could do, like renting your house out for events by the hour. Which
that sounds interesting. I don't know if my wife would. I guess I have to get her approval on that. Kathy,
I would think so. Yes.
She probably, and she probably would tell me no. Kathy, let me ask you. We've heard a lot about the Great Resignation, and by the way, I want to, in our back half segment, our second segment, I want to talk about side hustles particular to retirees. But how popular? Clearly, the side hustle is popular. But let's talk about pre-COVID, post-COVID. Is it more popular post-COVID, or was it always popular? Look, people like to do their own thing. We all have our passions. We're all different. We're all unique. We all like to pursue our own interests. So was it more popular before or after COVID?
It was popular before COVID. COVID kicked side hustles into overdrive, and for logical reasons. Everybody essentially went home to work, right? And after a probably 6-month transition period, they started going, whoa, this is great. This actually works. I'm able to do my work and balance my life a little bit. I don't have a commute. I don't have to get in work clothes. I don't have to do all these things that take up a huge amount of your day. And so millions of people decided, I'm not going back into an office. That's not happening. And so when different employers started pulling people back into their office and saying this is a condition of employment, you saw, or you're seeing still, the Great Resignation. People saying, nah, okay, see ya, I'm going to find something else to do. And those people are now flooding side hustle platforms, and the platforms are stepping up to take them. So the big growth area we see with side hustles are in professional services and consulting, so that all these people who have really mad skills are getting paid often way more than they were earning at their full-time job out in the freelance world.
And that's great. And again, it's maximizing your skill set, and you can do that. Look, there are always blind spots. So if I'm someone who's watching this program, young, mature, what have you, and you're thinking about the side hustle, what are some, and leaving your daytime job, obviously there's things like benefits you need to account for, Social Security, because I guess you're responsible for both you're really always responsible for both parts. That's a whole nother economic issue. But what are some of the blind spots if I'm thinking about jumping off and doing the side hustle? What do I need to be thinking about so I don't miss them and get screwed on the taxes at the end of the year?
Well, obviously, if you are working for yourself, there are self-employment taxes, which boil down to both ends of the Social Security and Medicare taxes. You also don't have automatic withholdings, so you're going to have to pay a little bit more attention to setting money aside for taxes at the end of the year. But the real thing I think you should keep in mind is you can do anything. And you, in many places, you get to set your own rates. And so you should raise your rates from your, normal working rate to account for those things that you don't get, like half of the Social Security taxes, benefits, a retirement plan, all that stuff. And so you should figure, I'm going to charge 30 to 40% more than what I was getting when I was working.
Yeah, that's really important. I think a lot of people don't account for that. And maybe if you're newer, maybe if you've only been working a short amount of time, you may not have the experience, the level, but you really need to think about that. Before we go to a commercial break, Kathy, I just have to ask you, you mentioned that there were really some obscure side hustles. Any that are safe for television to mention?
They're safe for television. I mean, again, you can rent out your house to the movies. You can be a marketer. There are a huge number for tech people. There's some consulting platforms that are just marvelous. And it doesn't matter what you do. You could, be in logistics or advertising or media, and they will pay you often $100 an hour to just opine on some company's problem.
Wow, I'll take $100 an hour. That sounds great, Kathy. I want to take a very quick break. When we come back, if you're a retiree thinking about the side hustle, well, we've got some tips for you and a lot more. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score, a credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. We're talking this morning to Kathy Christoph. She is the editor, founder, and CEO of SideHustle.com. Kathy, thanks so much for staying with us this morning.
My pleasure.
As Bob Dylan said, the times they are changing. And if you're watching this show and you're young, you may not know who Bob Dylan is. Hopefully you do. What a wonderful song. And look, the times are changing. Let's talk about retirees. He's one of my favorite artists. Let's talk about retirees for a second. Maybe people don't want to retire. Maybe they have a life passion that now that they've earned some money, they put it away in retirement, and they're not comfortable yet with retiring because what's happening in the market, inflation, market volatility. Let's talk about making that transition. What do I do if I'm thinking about doing a side hustle and I'm at or near retirement age?
Well, your first step is to think about why you're doing the side hustle. Are you doing it because you didn't save quite enough, or because inflation is making you uncomfortable? And then the second thing you need to, you want to pursue a passion. And then the second thing you should think about is, what are your unique skills and interests that would not only allow you to earn some extra money, but would fuel your passions, be time well spent in your retirement. And the options are truly so varied. I mean, a lot of retirees, for instance, imagine that they're going to travel a lot when they retire. But let's say you're just going, okay, given inflation, I'm not as comfortable going on all these trips as I might have been before. We've got an answer for you. There are a couple of platforms that's specifically looking for retirees. For instance, there's a platform called CoolWorks. And what they do is they staff resorts and camps and, like the incredible places to go. They're seasonal. And so they love retirees because retirees generally are polite. They have experience with customer service. They're patient. And you need those qualities if you're working in a resort where people are coming in and have a problem with their towels or something. And so they advertise just hundreds of different jobs in places, the coast of Maine, an island in, wherever, and Malibu. There's a million of these jobs that you can get. The jobs don't pay a ton, but most of them come with room and board. And so if your goal is to travel, you get that. There are also all of these house sitting sites that will allow you to stay in somebody's home. They don't pay you, but your biggest expense with travel is where you're going to stay, right? And so you can stay in people's homes and just water their plants and feed the dog. And the cost of that whole accommodations is taken care of. You can also have somebody do that for you here, and if you have dogs and plants that you need to take care of, which is a cool idea too. Speaking of dogs, I know a lot of retirees who use Rover to watch dogs overnight, right? So it's a very low maintenance side hustle. If you happen to love dogs, you get to choose. Do I want to just get, purse dogs, little tiny, Pekingese or whatever? Or do I want to watch somebody's golden retriever or lab? And if you've got a yard you've essentially got the ability to do this. And this platform is so freelancer friendly. We find people there making thousands of dollars a month, really working very, very part-time. Again, you set your own rates, so whatever the market will bear. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
whatever the market. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I cut you off. But I was going to say, it's almost like having grandkids. The best part about having grandkids or a pet is you get to give the grandchild back, and you get to give the pet back. So you get all the benefit and none of the trouble. In the time we have remaining, let me ask you, we talked about some of the benefits and taking into account of that, but let's talk about Social Security. What if what if you decide that you're going to retire and you're drawing from your 401k, or if you're lucky enough, to have a pension, and you've claimed Social Security and Medicare? Is that a blind spot? Do I need to think about how to handle that from if I do elect to do a side hustle? Because I would imagine that some of that kind of is going to get factored in.
Well, if you retire early, it definitely gets factored in. If you've retired after your normal retirement age, you really don't have an impact. But if you've retired at, say, 62, they will reduce your Social Security payments for on a dollar for dollar basis, not equally. It depends on what age you're at. Social Security is one of the most complicated, simple retirement programs in history of the world. But
it's like the Rubik's Cube, I think, the Rubik's Cube of retirement programs.
Absolutely.
There are more solutions to Social Security than there are for a Rubik's Cube. Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, Kath.
No. It just, if you have retired early and you're getting Social Security benefits, you should talk to somebody before you start a side hustle, because it will affect your Social Security payments. That's the short answer. Yeah,
and really important. We're always talking about, there are obviously a lot of positives. When you're making any type of decision, you look at the positives, but you also got to be aware of the negatives. Kathy, we're going to have to leave it there. Great start to hopefully a longer conversation down the road. Kathy Christoff, great to see you. Thanks for sharing your perspective.
Thank you so much. It was delightful.
That wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the latest curated news and lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content? Well, visit our website and, of course, our streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN Weekly. We'll be taking a look back at some of our best segments for the week. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.